welcome back to the channel. Recently, Scottie Pippen has been making a ton of headlines by critiquing Michael Jordan in his new book, Unguarded, as a response to how he was portrayed in the Netflix documentary, The Last Dance. While I don't agree with Pippen's accusations in the book, the narrative that Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time is slowly disappearing and more irrelevant than ever. Let us take a look at Jordan's career. When he entered the NBA in 1984, the league itself wasn't prepared for the type of talent he was, which allowed him to take the league by storm. After all, Michael Jordan's own teammates were on substance abuse, and it would be naive to think that only players on the Chicago Bulls were doing cocaine. This was a very different NBA, which only consisted of 23 teams at the time. And the reason this is important to take into account is because the expansion teams often, most of the time, are off to slow starts as a franchise. In recent memory, does anyone remember the Charlotte Bobcats? This is significant when addressing competition and the abundance of talent that exists today compared to Jordan's time. The game of basketball is a global sport now, and to illustrate this, the NBA has almost 4 times the amount of international players than it did in the decade like the 90s. The dynasty concept is no longer a relevant one because the skills of these players have evolved. This generation, you see guys pulling up, dropping threes near the logo, in contrast to Jordan's time which consisted of set shooters and a three-point line that was a foot closer to the basket. Some will say Jordan would adapt the same skill set and thrive even more in today's game, and to that I say, you sound like my parents. Many of you will hear your parents and grandparents talk about how hard their life was, and without resources they claim they would be more successful than you are. But they never acknowledge the challenges and struggles we face that they can't relate to. Is the quality of life better today? Absolutely, sure it is. Just like the quality of play in today's game being more advanced. Just like the abundance of people competing with one another today is more than it ever was in human history.